Hello everyone, we are in the daily driver today in the Subaru Impreza because we're actually not doing anything related to my BMW today. We're going to be talking about the new Ferrari that was announced the other day. What's it called? The 12 Cilindri, or there's another name for it, where is it? Dodici Cilindri, or the 12 cylinder basically. The new car is supposed to replace the 812 Superfast and the whole 812 lineup. And I'm a huge fan of Ferrari, as you can tell by the shirt, the hat. I have a jacket here, and I have a prop. See, look at that. I have an F12 prop. Look at that. Proper YouTuber now. As a fan of Ferrari, I just want to kind of give my opinion on the design of the car, what I think about it. So I'm going to have pictures pretty much throughout of different parts of the car and kind of different references. So a lot of pictures on the screen. And yeah, let's get into it. So I have an article kind of pulled up talking about the car, has all the pictures of the car. Number one, it is a V12. So that is fantastic. Another V12. It is not a hybrid and it is not electric. It is not turbocharged, nothing. It is just pure naturally aspirated V12 Ferrari. And I think in 2024, that is a fantastic thing to celebrate because obviously, as we know, cars are kind of downgrading all their engines and turbocharging them and everything. And I think this is something to celebrate. The fact that in 2024, Ferrari is still releasing a V12 naturally aspirated Ferrari. I think that is awesome. And kudos to them for finding a way to do it. Now, as far as the name, cool name, 12 Cilindri or Dodici Cilindri, really cool name. Really like it. Better than 812 Superfast. 100% better than that joke of a name. 9,500 RPM, red line. That is nuts. Really awesome. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Top speed of 217 miles an hour. So the car is fast. It is a monster, but that really should be no surprise. It's a modern Ferrari. That really shouldn't shock anybody. 820 horsepower. As far as Ferraris, I've driven the California, and that thing is fast in its own right. 820 horsepower. Nuts. Only a few more than the 812, so not a huge leap there, but really, really cool nonetheless. Really powerful car. Onto the looks of the car. So the looks of the car, I'm very mixed on. I like the inspiration that the car gets from the old Daytona. If you put them side by side, you can 100% see the inspiration is there. However, as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of the looks, especially from the front. The front is not very aggressive. It's very tame. And obviously you can see, as I mentioned, it has a lot of inspiration from the Daytona, especially with that front black piece. Now, if the car is a direct replacement for the Daytona, then okay, I would understand where they're coming from. But really, they're taking inspiration from a lot of older cars, and that's nothing new, especially in the car industry, nothing new there. What I don't like is that it doesn't feel like a successor to the 812 in terms of looks. In terms of performance, absolutely, but in terms of looks, I don't think it doesn't follow that lineage for me. It doesn't look like the F12, it doesn't look like the 812, it doesn't look like the 599. None of those V12s in the modern era really resemble it in this is succeeding them kind of a way. Now, from the rear, I don't mind the rear necessarily. I have my gripe with the rear. Firstly, those weird black panels on the rear, not a huge fan of. The side pieces, I think those should just be red altogether. I think it'll look much better. I believe those you can actually option as red, whereas the front little black piece, I don't think you actually can from what I'm reading. And the lights in the rear. So a lot of these modern Ferraris are ditching the circular taillights, and I don't like that personally. As a Ferrari fan, a Ferrari should have circle taillights. Historically, there's very few cars that have rectangular taillights. Most of the ones that do are in the old Ferraris. As far as modern Ferraris, there are very few that do, and now they're kind of getting into that square shape, which I don't think is the right direction for Ferrari, in my opinion. If you look at the SF90, it still has the 4 taillights in the end, but at this point they're a square shape. And then the Roma, Like, these lights very much so resemble the Roma, and I don't really like that as much. The Roma's a beautiful car. It fits that niche of like the beautiful kind of country drive to the vineyard and have a glass of wine kind of a Ferrari. It's not the monstrous beast. And I see that it's kind of the direction that Ferrari's going, and personally I'm not a huge fan of it. That's not to say the car itself doesn't look good. Like, it's not necessarily an ugly car. Now onto the price. So it looks like it starts with a price tag of 395 euros. I don't know what that is in dollars, but it's a lot, but not out of the realm of typical Ferrari brand new prices. So pretty average, I guess. So that's some of the specs, kind of some of the pictures. The interior I think is beautiful, and the interior I think is a very nice modern direction for Ferrari. Really nice. No real complaints there. So one of the reasons I brought this prop is because I want to talk about like the modern Ferraris. The F12, the 812. Look at it. Like, it's just an aggressive car. Like, the front is so aggressive. Like, the cut styling in there. The rear, like, it's such an aggressive looking car, and it looks so good. Got the little engine bay in there, very nice. It really kind of goes back to the age of the Pininfarina designed Ferraris, which in my opinion are like some of the most beautiful Ferraris in like the modern era. With Ferrari kind of getting away from that now, it's, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the newer designs that Ferrari's putting out. They have like performance-wise, they're nuts, they're insane, absolutely. Design-wise, they're modern and they're beautiful in their own right. Like, something about like this generation right here, like, it's just different. Screams Ferrari. In my opinion, the new 12-cylinder, I think how that car comes off to me is that car would do well if it was like a one-off model as like a homage to the Daytona, or if they released it as a separate standalone model, again in homage to the Daytona. Very much so how Lamborghini released the Countach, the new Countach, that is kind of meant to be an homage to the old Countach. They released it as a standalone model. They released X amount of units. It's not like a mainline car, and I think that is where this car fits in. I think that's what this car should be. I don't think from a looks standpoint that this car should be the successor to the 812 generation. That's honestly how I feel as a big fan of Ferrari, big fan of like a lot of their cars through the years. I love their racing. I love everything about the brand, what it stands for, like that kind of like top of the line elite, like this is Ferrari. I love that. I love the brand. In its own right, the car is a good looking car, but I think it should be a separate standalone model, limited production, that pays homage to the Daytona. That is what I think it should be. Let another car be the successor to the 812. Have something that has aesthetically a lot more similarities to it. Like, if you look at the F12 and then the 812, like, there's a lot of similarities there, and you could see how one evolves into the next. You can see how the 599 kind of evolves into the F12. You can see that. You can't really see how the 812 evolves into the 12-cylinder. I don't think you can really see that very well. Now, again, this is my first impression. My opinion may change over time. As a huge fan of the 812, with the 812 being one of my dream cars, if I owned one, I would not be in a rush to trade up to the new 12-cylinder. That's my thought on what I think of the new car, kind of my reaction to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section about this car. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts on it? And that's really going to be it for this video. So not really much else to it, just kind of a reaction to it, just kind of talking about what my thoughts are, and let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.